Well, I've got this stringer on the bench here, and it is routing time. Because I have to route out a groove beginning to end for a I-beam configuration. Before you begin, check if these two faces are perpendicular to each other. Looking good. Ready for routing. So this is the machine, a Bosch router, nothing special. Well, we'll do the job just fine, I imagine. First I have to mark the middle, kind of a center line, and adjust the machine accordingly. I have a parallel guide mounted on it, and the router depth put to 3/4 of an inch. This is a 1/2 inch router bit. So that's the beam. The stringer, it has a thickness of 1 3/4 of an inch. The center line would be at let's see, 3/4, 6/8, that's 3/8. An inch half is 4/8, 7/8 of an inch. It's the center line. 7/8. Let's mark this. 7/8. 4. 7/8. That is here. Let's take the square, set it. Draw a line. So this line is just to set the machine up. Nothing more. Alright. So let's see. So what I found out about this machine is you have to set it up like this for it to be accurate. You have to position this mark here. Well, I think this is specific for the to the Bosch machine. You have to put the mark just a hair over the line. That is your center line. Just like, too much, like that. So now I'm positive it will route just perfectly in the center line of this lumber. Again, this is an inexpensive machine, so that's something to consider, but nonetheless I think it'll work just fine. So first, set the router down. This is 0 position. I put the height adjustment on 1/2 inch. That's the depth I want to cut in the first try, and then set it deeper to 3/4 of an inch. Put the plunger down. Et voila, 1/2 inch. Check the groove. Yeah, perfectly centered. Perfectly centered. Well, I think I have to set up a dust collector because it's collecting a lot of dust inside of the machine, and the router bit gets obstructed. So let's set up the shop vac to remedy that. So getting into the groove, it's working out just fine, it seems. Okay, what I've learned is you have to stop every once in a while and retighten the tool, I mean the router bit, because it will come loose. And it did, just there, and almost screwed the whole thing up. So retighten the tool every once in a while. So, what's left to say? The dust extraction didn't really work, as you can see. Didn't do any good. So, but I reckon it didn't really need that. So, it worked anyways. So first pass is totally acceptable. Looks good. On to the second pass. Alright. Plunge it down. Three-quarters of an inch. Okay, let's go. So I have all the longitudinals pre-installed or dry fitted essentially, and now I have to cut them in shape, in rough shape, down to here, down to here, down to here, and the rest I'm going to shape with a plane. A hand plane, preferably. So let's make the marks. Like here. Here. Oh, no marks there. Back here maybe. Here. And there. Now I've just realized that the marks on the other side are actually the more important ones because of the angle. I don't want to cut the stringers short. This boat needs 2 sets of stringers in I-beam configuration. The outer pair, running from the main bulkhead aft, supports the sole. The inner pair is for the engine mounts and needs to be spaced accordingly. The inner pair is longer and extends farther forward into the cabin. The stringers are part of the backbone of the hull, so to speak, and therefore have to be fastened to the floors on stations 3.5 through 9.5. The 2 pairs of stringers are also glued on and screwed into the main bulkhead and the transom. So next I'm just roughly connecting the points with a straight edge. Again, on the inner side, not on the outer side, because of the angle of the planks, because of the angle of the building forms. So basically I'm just following the line with a handsaw, and I'll do it by eye because the objective is just to cut it down, to roughly cut it down, and then go in with a hand plane to finish it off. So this is just for saving some time. So I figure this will make quick work of it. This is my trusty Makita handsaw, my circular saw, and I must say this is the tool I mostly use for boat building. This has already a lot of miles on it, so I'm positive this is going to go well. Although it hurts a little bit to cut into the lumber. This is large, by the way. Mixed up some thickened epoxy. It's time to glue longitudinals in place. Let's go. So everything you do not want to be glued together, you have to tape off thoroughly with tape, with masking tape. Like these areas here, where the mold touches the floor, you have to separate the two. So as you can see, at that point, I had already prepared the edges of the building forms with plastic tape. The masking tape is just for redundancy. Of course, the tape rips, as it always does. And again. See, that's what I mean. Love it. I don't see nothing. Have to get inside. Let's glue. I should be wearing gloves, by the way. So I've glued all the stringers in place and clamped them down. Epoxy has to cure, and these two here I have to screw on because I don't have clamps that are long enough. So let's do that. So these are just temporary. Right. Well, I'm at it, and I have a lot of glue left. I might just glue on the cleats on the main bulkhead here. So, all said and done, install the longitudinals, pre-shape them, fasten them, glue them down onto the floors, and even glued on the cleat for the main bulkhead on both sides. So I'm pretty happy with that. The next step is to plane the stringers down to their final shape. For a novice like me, that's not an easy job. But it went well in the end. Watch. So next I'm shaping the longitudinals. The objective is to get from this angle to that angle on the next station. I'm doing the crude work with an electric plane and then use a block plane to cut it further down. So in order to get the transition right from this angle to that angle, I mean, it has to take place in between the two stations. So I try to accomplish really long strokes with the plane to get a natural curve and a natural transition from one station to the next. So the starboard side stringer, the outer stringer, is finished so far. It's a lot of, turns out to be a lot of manual labor. Planing by hand. I was wrong about my first concept of the thing, which was working with the electric plane and finishing off with the hand plane. It's the other way around, actually. It's it's starting out with the electrical plane, of course, then switching to a hand plane and then back to the electric plane for fairing out, because this has to be fair. This has to be a smooth curve all the way through, and the electric plane does the best job for that. So making this a fair curve is not the easiest thing to do, I learned. You can easily screw it up. And I have a little flat spot over here in this area. It's all about planing, sighting, plating, sighting, looking at it, taking a step back, looking at it, looking at it again. Is it fair? Is it a smooth curve, or is there a flat spot? No, it's here actually. There's a tiny bit of a flat spot. I think it'll fair out in the end when the planks are on, but it could have been avoided. So take your time when you're doing such a thing, especially when you have to resort to the hand tool. Take your time. I'm pretty happy with the result. Well, on to the next stringers.